Hello, Hojoz here. Welcome back to a Forza Horizon car build, livery and circuit showcase. Today we are doing basically what is a round the map circuit that roughly takes 11 minutes and 30 seconds to get around. Although I did do an 11 minute 10 and an 11 minute 6 around this one. Which means that we're in for 2 laps. Additionally, we've let the AI go by 1 minute, so we'll never ever see them again. That's how this circuit goes. Finally then, as we are basically getting ready to set off, this is a very high speed circuit. And we are off as we are going towards the first corner, which is basically a 90-degree corner, as this is a street circuit, followed by another 90-degree corner, which I guess I attacked too much, and then another 90-degree corner followed by yet another 90-degree corner, as we are getting ready to get out of the city and into those very high speed roads. Although there is still a braking zone coming up right here. As we slide a little bit there and take out some street furniture. It is basically such a high speed circuit that it is difficult for me to judge whether I should brake, lift or do nothing at all. As again I have to brake a little bit there and have a slide as a coincidence. No. I have a slide as because I was braking there, as we take another corner flat out. This really is a flat out circuit, but it is a circuit that gets you a lot of money and a lot of influence. This gets you like 3 or 4 levels in just 2 laps. That's ridiculous. That is quite honestly ridiculous. Well, I guess I did have the road racing multiplier enabled on this one, as we are now crossing into the beach area of the circuit. And this is just so much high speed stuff and no braking that I basically have nothing to comment on. As we round another corner, we are nearing Barnborough Castle. As we enter another little bit of a village, not all too much of the village though, as we immediately have exited it. This stretch is usually where I take my thumbnails and where I make my photos for showing off the liveries, because well, it's quite close to the base, at least as the thing that I've set home as home. I'm sorry, as we had a little bit of a bump there, because well, we exited the corner there with too much speed, and a little bit of a braking zone there, as it is again just flat out and taking too much of an apex. A little bit of corner cutting, I guess, as another corner dawns, and then on top of the hill we encounter yet another corner. How surprising. You may notice that I'm trying to take the full radius of the corner sometimes, and sometimes it really works out for me, and I can get the full radius of the corner, but a lot of the times you'll see that I usually either begin in the middle of the track, begin the corner in the middle of the track, or end the corner in the middle of the track. But as you can see here, it's usually both. As again, that was a corner with a braking zone. This is a really high speed section, as I take out some fencing there. I really take out some street furniture. I really do. I really do a lot. Do that a lot, because I tend to really grab the apex of a corner and then, as I said, not really get the full radius of it. Instead, just getting stuck halfway around the track. Maybe that's because I drive bad and it's a bit hard to smooth off your turns. I mean, with the technique I learned, it is a lot easier, but it is still quite hard on the pad as we enter another city. I think that's going to be a giant braking zone here, yep, as we round the corner there. I bet you didn't expect that one, and we are taking a little bit of, not a shortcut actually, it is a little bit of a longer way around this town. This is actually the same town as where I recorded my last video on Forza Horizon 4, as we are getting ready to exit the corner, exit the town I mean. We just take out the fencing there. As I said, just sometimes taking too much track or taking too much apex, I really do smash up some street furniture sometimes. Another corner here. It is a lot of 90-degree corners and a lot of high-speed corners this track. But hey, at least it's not just one giant bit of straight. As we take out a sign there, as I said previously, tend to take a little bit too much for the apex. As another corner awaits us. That was actually the bit where one of the stories exists, the stuntman story. Cool story, although some levels there are very annoying, as I completely fuck up the beginning of that corner. I mean, could you just see that? I was braking when I was actually supposed to be turning, and I really wasn't in the ideal place on the track, as I here completely forget my apex on another one of those 90-degree bends. I mean, I know my driving is bad, but this is just ridiculous. It really is. And as we have another high-speed, no braking section here. Yeah, just a little bit of a lift, a little bit of a brake here. As we enter yet another little bit of town. Well, it was a house, nothing more than that. So I guess that's not equal to a town. As we really have to brake here. Really deceptive corner, this one. I had a lot of times where I was rewinding simply because I thought I didn't have to brake for the corner, and then I was just fully onto the grass and into the fencing there. I mean, that just hurts. And as I've said in my previous video, I do use rewinds a lot, although I didn't do it as much for my feeling, for what I've noticed. As you may see some tire marks glitching in the middle of the air. I don't know how, I don't know why that happens, as yet another town is being crossed here. And this is just again another high-speed section. I really feel like I'm repeating myself, but that's because this is a rather boring circuit, especially if you don't have the AI. It is actually a very cool circuit when you have the AI involved, because with the AI I find it rather hard to overtake them on this circuit, as I have an A-class Audi TTS with downforce, so it's a little bit draggy and a little bit it's missing a lot of top speed on the straight bits, and when you have a high-speed track it's really hard to catch up with them. Although I have never ever finished this track in a lower place than first place, which I find actually pretty amazing, because as I said, very high speed circuit, but there are just some areas where I can really exploit my downforce, I feel, and where the AI have to brake, whereas I can just take the corner flat out. and with a high-speed circuit, that momentum that you gain out of that one corner is going to carry along with you for a long part of the track, which I guess that's why I was some 20 seconds faster my fastest lap than the guy that finished first, which had a time of 11 minute 26 as its fastest lap. As there was a little bit of a braking zone there, a bit of an elevation change, as it is still flat out. Just making sure you hit those checkpoints. I mean, it's actually pretty hard to miss a checkpoint on this circuit, because you're, well, always on the tarmac, as we had a railroad crossing there, and another pair of flying tire tracks there. As this bridge I had to use a lot of rewinds on too, because turns out I was taking too much of the radius, too much of the corner exit, because I was constantly hitting the railing on that bridge, as we have to really brake here for a roundabout. I find this corner to be really hard, the roundabout to pretty hard to approach, pretty hard to do, as we are lining ourselves up here for another corner, which enters us into the city that we began our journey in. And this means that we have some real braking stuff here, as you saw there. And this is just one of my favorite corners of the entire circuit. It's a 180-degree corner, and you have to take it really slow. And I feel like that's a corner where the AI loses some time as we approach the start-finish straight and the first sequence of corners, which on this lap, this second lap, it felt like it was complete and utter perfection for me. I mean, just look how I'm taking these corners. It is nigh on perfect through those first section of corners. But yeah, as we have rounded out the full part of the circuit, it is now time to talk about the existence of the circuit and the livery I've put on here. So the circuit, it came into existence because I thought to myself, well, I want to have a circuit that basically goes around the entire map, because why not, really? I was, while making this circuit, I had made one previously and discovered that it was basically the same circuit as was already there, which was quite awkward. But yeah, after that I just made a circuit that basically went across the map. Apart from some bits, it's actually pretty much the outside road of the map through the entire way. And yeah, then the livery. This livery on the Audi TTS used to be quite boring. It was just a green straight line across the top part of the of the body, with a Dutch flag on the roof, and the HojozVideos logo on the side. That was then pretty much it. But it was actually my first livery, my first proper livery in Forza Horizon 4, as we drive by a very nice castle. But later on I decided to revamp the livery after I saw the Mercedes W10 Formula 1 car. I thought it was really nice looking because of the fact that it mixed silver with like a dark grey, and then just some turquoise, or rather blue, lines on it. And on this livery I decided to replace the blue with green lines. And then, well, the dark gray is the dark gray. And I just mounted some additional sponsoring by Epson, which isn't the sponsor of this video, by the way. Any sponsoring on my cars, it's not actually a sponsor of the video. And I painted the bonnet, pretty much the entire bonnet, white, put on a giant HojozVideos logo, a simplistic one at that, because it isn't the full roundel. And then on the side I kept the HojozVideos logo, and at the back I added a HojozVideos URL with 2 HojozVideos roundels. And that then pretty much rounds out the livery. With that said, maybe it's time to talk about the car, the build of the car, which, well, as far as I can remember, I mean, this build was pretty much in the beginning of when I played the game, which was 3 months ago. Jeez, time flies by quick. From what I can remember, it's on race tires, full width all round. And well, it has aero installed, of course, and then probably mainly handling upgrades and just a little bit of power thrown in. Of course, this car is all-wheel drive from standard, and it's a very lovely car to me. As talking about lovely, I really take these corners lovely, apart from the fact that I didn't use the full radius of the corner there. Now again braking for another corner as we go out of the village. That's really nothing more to talk about, to be honest. Well, we'll talk about some future plans. Actually, yesterday I dreamt up a Lancia Delta livery with Repsol branding, after I basically saw a Lancia Delta livery with Repsol branding. I mean, oh my god, is that really such an original idea? No, it isn't. I also dreamt up a nice livery of a local taxi company by the name of Witteveen for the Ford Transit Super Sports van, which would be an asymmetric livery in that it switches color on either side, and then on one side it's Anti-Max branding, and on the other side it's pretty much DHL. I mean, it's not really that creative, and it's rather simplistic, which my liveries, they have really been rather simplistic. But it's pretty much only because I have to, if I want to share my liveries, as this is a better corner than the last lap. Because if I want to share my liveries, I have to include sponsors or decals that are made by me and not by others, which, well, it makes sense because the others would like to have credit too. But on the other side, it's pretty annoying because, well, it means that I have to spend a lot of time just retracing logos, which I'm not looking forward to. So I'm pretty much being a lazy fuck and not doing it at all. Which is why, by the way, this car is sponsored by Epson. It was pretty much the easiest logo to make on the entire. It was included on the entire Mercedes car. So I thought, well, why not slap it onto there? Because, well, as I said, it's just the easiest logo to make. And, well, same with actually the brands I love. And the brands I want to include most often on my liveries, which as well, Epson, Castrol, Motul, DHL, that kind of thing. They all have rather simplistic logos that are easy to recreate. As we had a little bit of a jump there. You can really see how much of a high-speed circuit it is, as that was a really, really high-speed section that I actually took. High speed. But yeah, that's pretty much my future plans. I mean, I have a lot and a lot of other livery ideas. I still have more liveries to showcase you. And I still haven't explored the full racing track genres. As well, in these 2 episodes, I've shown you a rallycross circuit and pretty much a high-speed, what I would call endurance circuit if you put it on 50 laps. I mean, that would be ridiculous, putting this circuit on 50 laps. I mean, imagine the money that you'd make from that, but still, putting this circuit on 50 laps, it's absolutely ridiculous. As an idea. But yeah, in the future, I'd like to do more dirt tracks, more cross country. I mean, I have to show off the Verstopper, the Verstopper Beetle somehow. So I have to make a cross country race for that. I'll also have to practice driving my Clio Williams built in B class, because I said in the previous video, it's really hard to drive a front wheel drive car for me. I mean, I all wheel drive swapped it, but it's still rather hard. I mean, it's just a question of putting on the gas slowly as you exit the corner, but I pretty much use braking and acceleration as nothing or pretty much everything, which is something I have to get rid of somehow. Really have to. But yeah, enough about my shitty driving capabilities. We're actually nearing the end of the video. Roughly 1 to 2 minutes remaining. It's pretty much time to finish up the commentary. So yeah, what do I plan to do besides that? Well, I suppose my Aston Martin Forza edition needs a livery, and my ultra fast Jaguar XJ 220 built to S1 class for rallying, that needs a proper video as we enter the town, and it's well, nearly the end of the lap. Let's just join the car and commentate properly on the final corners of the lap as the video is closing. Here it's a pretty nice corner, and then coming up to my favorite corner on the track. As you can see, maybe a worse line there, and here I just completely corner cut, then forget that I can't rewind and go on the straight again. But yeah, that was pretty much the video, pretty much the track, and I guess it's time for a bit of credit, boys. Bob, as I'll see you next time, hopefully.